I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver in January, and I'm joined by Chris Gordon of Integra Resources. Thanks so much for coming to the event here today.
Great to be here, Gwen. What an amazing turnout at the show.
I
Hopefully
mean,
a sign of things to come,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
This has been a really strong turnout, a lot of energy out there. So you talked to a packed crowd, and you sort of focused on two key things that are going on for Integra. Integra is obviously a big developing story with your DeLamar Project in Idaho, but I think it sort of falls into two categories. There's a bunch of exploration happening, and then there's what you're going to do with all of the information that you gather from that exploration. So let's talk about exploration first. You're keen on both expanding the resource that you have by a significant number is what you're expecting, and then there's that high-grade angle to the story.
Yeah, thanks, Gwen. Last year obviously was a big year for us with the resource update and growing that resource and moving a lot of it into M&I and following that up with the PEA and then getting the most recent governor added to the board as we start to navigate the permitting process.
Yeah.
So this year, it's going to be a little bit different, but I think still exciting now that we've established ourselves firmly as a development company. Going forward, I'd say maybe three key takeaways and what you touched on. There is the exploration. So we stepped into this obviously with a 3.5 million ounce inferred resource right out of the gate. So it made a heck of a lot of sense for us to follow that up and give people more confidence in that resource. And I think that's so far what we've been able to do. And now I think as we look into 2020 here, I think with the shallow step out targets that we've got at DeLamar, at Florida Mountain, which is all targeted into the oxide or transitional material, which works very well with the PEA heap leach program that we outlined. I think we can easily add 500,000 ounces and hopefully more this year just on that front. But I think maybe more importantly, we're starting to look at turning Integra into not just a low-grade story, but adding a high-grade component as well. And, the market usually gets very excited about high-grade, obviously. So
for sure. And I mean, for good reason. If you take, you have your PEA outlined a nice, strong operation for a low-grade heap leach operation. But if you're able to add some high-grade into that story, high-grade juices economics. That's why the market likes it.
Exactly. It gives us optionality, really. When you look at that 125,000 ounce a year production profile, that's supported with 27,000 ton per day open pit heap leach operation. And in year 3, the first 2 years pay for the mill build, which under this current profile, which is sort of a mid-tier sort of size profile, would be a 2,000 ton per day mill. And the optionality we have by adding some pockets of high grade at War Eagle and Florida and some of these other zones that we haven't even tested yet, that is another separate epithermal system to the northwest of DeLamar that's 5 kilometers by 5 kilometers. So a lot of targets there. But what we would be able to do then is take that mill and just for rough numbers say, take 500 ton per day out of that 2,000 ton per day of 1 gram per ton material or 700 ton per day, whatever the number is, and substitute that with just
something
5
stronger.
to 10 grams per ton. All of a sudden you look at the after-tax IRR and the numbers on the project really skyrocket with just adding a little bit of that into the story. So I think that's really exciting as we move into this year.
And definitely, as you guys now have sort of 2 years on the project, I in conversations with you and with your geo team, you guys clearly have really evolved your understanding of where that high grade might come from. And so I think, that's an exciting component to the story. In addition, of course, you put out this PEA last year that really helped the market understand the value at DeLamar and increased your market cap. It increased institutional involvement and the sort of the pool of investors who like the story. Now you're targeting a PEA update later this year that's going to change the story quite a bit. So take us through that update or that outlook.
Sure. I think when you look at that PEA we put out, that's something that we can finance ourselves. And that's what was important to us to show the market. You don't want to be a junior that's talking about, a $500 million CapEx for a project that looks good when everyone knows you're not going to be able to raise that type of capital. So this is something that we can finance ourselves, around 200 million Canadian to get to that production profile that we talked about. But more importantly, the other side of this story is to get a major's real attention, you're going to be looking at least north of 200,000 ounces and preferably around 250 and higher. With our project, this is built off of the oxide and the transitional material only. We didn't have a full understanding of the metallurgy on the sulfide material yet, but since we put that PEA out, we dove headfirst into that work. So that should be wrapped up and ready to be an updated PEA, where you're going to be looking at probably about a 250,000 ounce a year profile when we add that extra approximately 2 million ounces to the story. Obviously, that changes the numbers in terms of the dynamics on the PEA. I mean, you're probably looking at around double the CapEx. Your costs probably going to go up, obviously, per ounce and that sort of thing. But the NPV is going to grow substantially. And again, it puts us on the map in terms of majors. And obviously with Integra Gold, we already have relationships with a lot of the mids and majors already. So we've got a number of them that have access to the data room that are keeping close tabs on things.
Yeah. That's a busy year. A lot of exploration, resource growth, high grade, chasing the high grade, coming up with a much larger mine plan that is both oxide and sulfide. Busy days ahead. You guys are well capitalized to do it. And yeah, pitter patter, hey?
Exactly, yeah.
Thanks for the update, and I look
Thanks,
forward
Gwen.
to keeping up with it.
Great to see you as always.